Welcome to Harpoon Brewery in Windsor, Vermont. I'm your host, Elizabeth DeRazio, and I'm joined by the Chief Brewing Officer, who has a job we all envy. Al Marzi has been here at Harpoon for over 20 years, concocting some of their most famous recipes. And our special treat for you today is we're going to do a tasting flight of the fall seasonals and learn just what the high notes and low notes of these beers are that means they have to be on our holiday table. So, Al, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for coming to the brewery.
Thank you for having us. So, we're going to do a flight. Tell us the tastes and sounds of the season.
Sure. Well, we're going to get to the season at the last two, but I figured we'd start with a very familiar beer, Harpoon's best-known beer, which is our Harpoon IPA. So, if you want to grab the one on you're right, my left.
Okay.
As you smell this, you'll notice that there's a nice aromatic, a floral aromatic from the Cascade hop that we have in it. And then, as you taste it, you notice that there's a nice malty balance and a clean bitter finish. But it's not overwhelming. There are an awful lot of IPAs out there that are incredibly bitter.
Yeah, and they hit you over the head.
Right. And the thing about Harpoon IPA is it's very balanced. There's malt that balances the hop. It's refreshing, and probably one of the reasons it's our best-selling beer.
It's got a great smoothness to it.
It does.
So if you don't like IPAs because you think it's just all power, it's got a great smooth aftertaste.
Completely, and that's why we try to explain to people, just because you may know the style of IPA, if you haven't had Harpoon IPA, you really need to try it because it's not like other IPAs on the market.
#1 seller in New Hampshire, too.
Which is fantastic.
It is. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right,
now,
so what's next?
Well, we're going to move along to our newest beer that we came out with earlier this year.
Okay.
Which is called Take 5, which is right here.
Okay.
Take 5 is also an IPA, but it is a session IPA. And by session, what it means is it's a little bit lower in alcohol.
Okay.
So the IPA was 5.9 ABV. This is 4.3 ABV. And it's got 43 IBUs, which are bitterness units.
Right.
The thing you're going to notice is this has even more of a hop aromatic.
Yeah, definitely that citrus pop in there.
Much more citrus in it, a little bit of fruity. And then as you taste it, you'll notice again that it's very smooth, but it's a very difficult beer to make. Making something that's lower in alcohol, but that has that hop characteristic to it, it's very, very tricky. And it took us a lot of test batches to get here, because you can end up with something that's very, very thin in bitter if you're not careful when you're working with lower alcohols. So this has a very complex malt character to it.
Is there like a little toasty bit in the
There's
middle?
a little bit of toastiness in it.
In the middle, yeah.
But one of the beautiful things about it at 4.3 ABV is you can
drink it.
drink a reasonable amount of it and still keep your faculties around you.
I like it. It's nice because the first one has such a full mouth feel. This one's a little lighter, but it doesn't feel weak.
No, and there's a little bit of sweetness to it up front. Again, it's a very well crafted. You got to have the body that backs up the hops.
I can drink that.
I'm glad. So we've been having a lot of fun with this summer.
I can imagine.
Now that brings us to the fall.
Okay.
So with our last two beers that we have here, our fall seasonal beers. And the next one we're going to try is our Pumpkin UFO, which I believe we've been making since 2011. And it's been a very popular beer for us.
And you can see that unfilteredness right there. Look at that.
Exactly.
Like a milkshake.
Yes. But it's not too heavy. It's not too thick. The first thing you're going to notice is the aromatics, which is a little bit like pumpkin pie.
Oh, it is.
We not only use spices in the brewing of this, in the kettle and in the whirlpool, but we also do something called dry spicing. So after the beer has fermented, we go back in and we put cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, and allspice into the fermenter when the beer has cooled, so that we make sure that we get the right balance of spice in the aroma.
Okay, here we go.
This has 5 different malts in it.
Wow.
And also some pumpkin puree that helps give it some of the body that's in there.
But it's not overly sweet pumpkin.
It's not overly sweet, exactly. If
It's
it was
not like
cloyingly sweet, you wouldn't be able to drink it.
Some of them taste like a pumpkin soda. This is definitely a beer. It's got a definite like beer taste, but it's got... And it's so complex. It's like every second is a new flavor.
Have you done beer tastings before? Because you're using all the right lingo. It's perfect.
My dad was a wine sommelier in college.
There you go. Well, the nice thing about beer as opposed to wine is when you're tasting, you actually have to swallow it.
Yeah, that's good.
So that has been a great seasonal beer for us that is out and about right now.
And last but not least
is our Oktoberfest, which is probably the beer I look forward to the most every year.
Oh, yes.
We've been making this since 1989. And this beer has got 4 different malts in it and some Willamette hop and some Tettnang hop. And you notice there's not a lot of hop aroma. Really, everything about this beer is around the malt. And it needs to have some complex malt body to it, but it's not heavy. It's not a stout or even a porter. It's very easy to drink. And it's great because when the Oktoberfest comes out, it means our Oktoberfest festivals are right around the corner.
It's got that great slight reddish tinge.
It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hue.
It's easy to drink, it's smooth.
Yes.
Oh, I love it.
Something I look forward to every year.
Well, I want to thank you, Al, for joining us. And for the winter, what can we look forward to real quick?
Well, we have our winter warmer coming back yet again.
Love it.
Which is a spiced ale that has cinnamon and nutmeg in it. And we also have Gingerland coming back.
I got to try that.
Which has ginger in it, which is a phenomenal beer. It's like gingerbread. Liquid gingerbread.
I could do that. Well, I want to thank Al for taking time out of his busy day to give us this wonderful tasting. Cheers from Harpoon Brewery.
Cheers.